Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Emmerdale let Dawn Fletcher down. Now give her the exit storyline she deserves. How will she leave the Dales? Emmerdale has aired a major turning point for Dawn Fletcher, who walked out on fiancé Joe Tate after discovering his sick blackmail plot. It comes just weeks after it was reported that the character is to be written out of the ITV soap. The game-changing twist is a breath of fresh air, as Dawn has lost herself in recent years. Looking back, this started after her youngest son, Evan, was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in 2024. At first, Dawn and her then-husband Billy were shown filled with worry and exhaustion, taking steps to protect Evan from infections and keeping vigil. Then suddenly, his journey was entirely abandoned on screen. And although Dawn herself didn't disappear from view during Evan's illness, Emmerdale took her in a baffling direction, which didn't make sense given the plight of her little boy. The action shifted onto the arrival of Dawn's estranged mum, Rose. But after the briefest glimpse into Dawn's abandonment issues, the narrative became all about her dad, Will Taylor, and Rose fled, never to be seen again. We were already lacking Dawn's perspective over Evan, and now her fragile reconciliation with Rose was left unfinished. Just when we should have revisited the leukemia story, Will's death rocked the family, and later, Dawn's affair with Joe ended her marriage. Being so caught up in a new romance while her poorly son was still in and out of hospital did this dedicated mother, who usually prioritized her children, a disservice. It wasn't until earlier this year that we learned Evan's treatment was successful, our first significant update on his health since those early hospital scenes. Even though this development created space for character growth, there continued to be very little focus on Dawn in her own right, with the exception of one special episode in which she movingly reflected on her experience with sexual coercion and drug addiction, intertwined with April Windsor's ordeal. But this insight was all too brief, and beyond that, Dawn's life has been missing that community feel. Her early friendship with Ryan Stocks, for example, became non-existent, and we've yet to see any substantial scenes of her running take a vow since she bought into the business. Instead, Dawn is constantly in the middle of Joe-based drama, and their relationship has only dragged her down. Her spirit was dampened as she constantly overlooked his increasingly vile behavior, from threatening her adoptive daughter Clemmy to causing a fatal crash, stealing a kidney from his own uncle, and most recently, destroying Holly Barton's memorial. The revelation that Dawn pushed Joe out of a home farm window last year should have been crucial, but was rendered pointless when he learned almost nothing, while she moved swiftly on from the whole saga without addressing their problems. So when she watched a video of John Sugden trying to kill Victoria, who fought back and ended his life, the moment Dawn finally woke up from her passive stance was a triumph. Horrified that Joe had watched, filmed the incident, and held the footage over Robert and Victoria, she deleted every trace of it and turned her back on her partner. Having been taken advantage of by men before, and even forced to kill just like Vic, it felt right for Dawn to be the one to take the wind out of Joe's sails and deliver some real consequences. And if Emmerdale is giving Dawn her voice back at long last, perhaps she can avoid a woeful, low-key departure. What if, rather than simply dumping Joe, Dawn exacts revenge for all those he's wronged? Joe's scheming has impacted several villagers, from Moira Dingle to Carrie Wyatt and Jacob Sugden, so his comeuppance is long overdue. Dawn could extract a confession, or failing police intervention, seize his assets and channel vintage Kim Tate by making off with the cash. As an added bonus, let's see that old bond with Ryan restored, with his technical expertise helping to turn the tables on Joe. This would certainly allow Dawn to bow out in a blaze of glory, but it's not the only route Emmerdale could take. Her ex, Alex, or another piece of her past could reappear, leading to an empowering takedown that sees headstrong Dawn confront her demons one last time. While it rarely comes up these days, Dawn was responsible for the death of evil D.I. Malone, fatally shooting him in defense of herself and the late Harriet Finch. Although Kim moved Malone's body away from home farm years back, Dawn's impending exit could see the soap unearth his remains, upping the stakes as she faces yet another fight for her life. Whether or not she is forced to pay the price, though, it would be fitting to acknowledge this monumental event from Dawn's life, and honor Olivia Bromley's compelling performances during an era that placed her alter ego firmly in the spotlight. As a warrior of a woman who turned her life around, it's vital that Dawn's send-off is anything but quiet. So please, Emmerdale, play to her strengths with a final arc that's all about her, and make it one to remember.